The Hull and Holderness Railway opened on the 24th of June 1854.
This 18-mile stretch of line ran from the seaside town of Withernsea to Hull.
Final year in which the whole of the line was in operation was 1965.
Due to its rural location, much of the line and many of its stations still remain.
And in this video we're going to explore each one of those still existing stations and other remains of this wonderful rural railway.
We begin our day at Withernsea on the longest and hottest day of 2025.
Sadly, almost nothing remains of Withernsea Railway Station, now a car park, an Aldi and a police station.
But hang on, what have we found here?
So we begin our exploration of the Hull and Holderness Railway sitting on the platform of the former Withernsea Railway Station. It's the only part of the station that still remains. And for that we have an architect to thank. The architect who was responsible for building the police station just behind us made sure that when it was being built, what remained of the platform was restored using the original bricks that were still around. And as you can see from looking at the brickwork underneath where we're sitting, it's rather decorative. So thank you to the person who preserved the final part of Withernsea Railway Station. But before the railway came to Withernsea, it was a small village of 109 inhabitants and just one shop back in 1851. The idea of the promoters of the railway was that agricultural produce could be taken along into the port of Hull, but also day trippers and holiday makers could make it out to the coast and a coastal town could be developed for their needs. And this is exactly what happened, with an express train between Hull and Withernsea taking just 45 minutes. And we do have this rather wonderful cine footage from 1957 showing that entire journey.
And we shall be returning to this as we make our modern day way between the stations.
Before we leave Withernsea, I'd just like to comment on a couple of incidents that I found happened. In 1908, a train overran the platform, crashed through the barriers and narrowly escaped injuring a woman walking on the street nearby. And in 1923, a wandering labourer was apprehended after having broken into the booking office, stealing 30 shillings, then apparently walking along the cliffs at Withernsea and walking along the line to Patrington. On leaving Withernsea Railway Station, the line went southwestwards for a little over a mile until it came to the tiny station of Hollym Gate, which by the time this film was made in 1957 had been taken out of use. You can just see, I think, the station building passing on the left there. Very little known about this station, but I did find this reference to races taking place and patrons getting off at the railway station in 1856. In 1896, we had an attempt to derail a train by placing an obstruction on the line by Hollgate Station. And sadly in 1903, a cow was run over and killed by a train heading to Withernsea.
Back in 1957, we're pulling into Patrington Station.
The second station we visited. So in the car park of Patrington Station Hotel, we've got these old sleepers being used as protectors for the grass area from the cars. We discovered that in the 1930s, the station hotel was owned by Jack Houghton, a former Hull City and Fulham footballer who used his fame to attract customers there. Like most stations on this line, Patrington was outside the village, which gave it its name. And the old station behind me, which is now the offices of a scrap metal company. But nice to see the building still in use. And a nice photo of the ticket office here, taken 20 years ago. Patrington Station saw the death of a farmer who fell from a railway truck and died of brain concussion in 1899. And in 1924, a silver badge holder, that's somebody who'd been injured in the First World War, was convicted and fined £1 and 19 shillings for using bad language on Patrington Station platform.
Next stop, barely a mile away, Weinstead.
As we approach, somebody very kindly holding open the level crossing gates here to the right. Once again, a station in a remote location. 3/4 of a mile south of the village. Station house still with us today, and I'm just going to look at the track bed of the old line next to it. A railway station style clock. I'm not sure if it's the original. Does anybody know? This bullet footpath takes us down the back of the railway station, but I don't think there's going to be much to see. Now that's private, so not going in, but you got a short view of the station house there. One story we found was of an engine overheating in 1904, letting off steam, and a horse bolted and then nearly was run over by the train when it started again. Something about the unsuitability of Hessle water for these railway engines. Does anybody know what that might mean? So whilst Weinstead Railway Station House remains as a private residence, there is now nothing remaining of the platform, sadly. At this point in the journey, can I ask, if you are enjoying this video, you please give it a like on YouTube to help us grow this channel. Also, if you like this sort of content and would like to see more, if you subscribe to the channel, it's absolutely free. We're going to bring you lots of railway videos and other history content in the coming months. And just before we reach the next station, which is Otingham, I just want to have a little think about this siding, Hildyard siding, shown here on the map. I found out that it could take a maximum weight of 20 tonnes. Does anybody remember that siding? It seems to be long gone now. So now we're pulling into Otingham. We have here another station somewhat outside the village, which bears its name. Otingham. I think this is the best preserved of all the stations on the line. We have the goods yard through in this private residence. We can see that small brick building there. Does anybody know what that was used for? And you can see some of the walls along there that were possibly used for storing goods. It looks like we have the remains here of the old level crossing gate. And a dog behind us. And on the other side of the road, the other level crossing gate. We've still got the hinge there on top of the post. Amazing, over 60 years since this line closed, and that hinge and that post is still there. And the full post and hinge set on the other side of the road, and Dawn has just discovered underneath our very feet, or just our feet, part of the old track. So we're just going to have a little walk up that way to see if there's any platform there, then a little walk along that way to see if there's any platform, and the other direction westwards towards Hull. Here we can see the station building up above us. The hedges are quite high. It's the middle of June, so foliage is at its biggest, most luxuriant. What's the phrase there this time of year? But yeah, lovely windows, lovely brickwork on the old station house. Oh yes, the hedge gets a bit lower now and we can clearly see it. Then a few yards further on, we have this lovely goods shed. Again, a private residence. We've got a sign there that says 12. An old milepost. I wonder if it's from the original line here. And not only do we have the station house and the goods shed, we have the platform too. A lot of it's disguised behind this vegetation. But if I hold the camera up, you can see the platform edging there. And just a bit further along, even more clearly, you can see the platform edging and the brickwork underneath. It's very nettly. I've got shorts on and it's somebody's private land. And for those three reasons, that's as close as we're going to get. Bonus, platform on the other side too. Dawn is going to get as close as she can now to that platform.
I'm certainly not. It's full of nettles and thorns by the look of it. But marvellous. Oh yes, marvellous.
Quite a long platform this for a rural country station. Still carrying on in front of me here. I think we can actually get right up close to it at this point because the foliage is a bit less. Here we are, the platform of Otingham Railway Station. And some more remains on the north side, which are a lot clearer if you go 100 yards away from the main road.
Wonderful. What's it on there?
Yeah, people put some little decorations on here. Painted the end of a log by the looks of it. It's a fairy hanging from a tree.
It's a silver thing.
Yeah, it really was a delight to find so much platform still intact at Otingham, and this would prove to be the case in later stations that we visited during the day. That feeling you can almost transport yourself back 60 years or more to the time when this would be heavily used by people enjoying leisure and taking part in business. Yeah, the fence slopes down there, so that means we've come to the end of the platform.
Yeah.
But as you can see, 100 yards or so from the main road. Great mix of the well cared for and some of the station remains returning to nature. And the building that now says Coach House on it was once the railway hotel here. So plenty of things to see for the railway enthusiast at Otingham. Yes, as well as the stimulation of tourism to Withernsea, it was also hoped that some of these stations along the line might become little tourist hotspots themselves. Another bolt on this side of the old level crossing gate too. Another animal related tragedy to report here on this rural line. I guess that's why so many of the incidents here relate to animals rather than humans. But this one actually making the national news in the Daily Mirror. Yes, just outside Otingham Station some horses had wandered onto the line, and the paper reported that some of them were cut to pieces and the train was slightly derailed, but no human injuries in this instance. We're going to pause our journey towards Hull there and bring you the rest of the stations we explored in the next part of this two-part series. If you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, please give this video a like, and if you don't want to miss the second part, then if you subscribe to the channel, which is absolutely free, you'll see when we upload that to YouTube in the coming few days. We certainly had a fantastic time exploring the rest of this wonderfully preserved and fantastic line, so yeah, we hope you can join us next time, where every journey begins with a path to the past.